I'm live. Hello, everybody. I'm here. Just gonna get everything set up, and we will be ready to go with this week's episode of the podcast. Oh, I forgot to. Right. Whoops. Unmute. Mute. Off. Okay. Now, let's get this out. Almost done setting up. We'll be ready to go. Um, nice. Still need a little bit, but almost done setting up. Whoops. Did not mean to do that. Let's get it anyways. Okay. Now, all right, we are good and ready to go. Let's start. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to this week's episode of Benny and the Booth podcast. On this week's episode, we've got MLB Weekly Recap. We've got college football week 0, which actually does count towards regular season. Only one of the games really is important, but we'll be getting into it. We have a bit of NBA news and some NFL news. All that and more coming up. Well, I guess more of not much NFL. No, I realize, but all getting into on this week's episode. Let's begin. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to episode 47 of Benny in the Booth podcast. Thank you so much for your support to this point. I very much do appreciate it. I'm officially back in school, so things will probably be adjusted with timing, whether it's because of classes or homeworks or being them back at a baseball club again. But it will, unless I note otherwise, assume it will still be Tuesday. Just timing could vary depending on how schedule plays out. Yeah, but we're gonna start so let's get into it. So actually gonna start with college football. As last Saturday, we actually had the first bit of college football action, and most of the games were like nothing crazy. But I'm gonna highlight one game for two reasons. One, it was a crazy game in itself, and two, this game was actually played in Dublin, Ireland, specifically in the Avia Stadium in Dublin. And this is apparently a thing they've been doing randomly throughout the years. It's called the Aer Lingus College Football Classic. Doing it for a few years. Hasn't happened, I think, since 2016 because of COVID, but they've had this as a tradition, I guess, somewhat of week 0. But basically, to explain what week 0 is not every team plays. It's like a few random teams. And it's also in like neutral site locations. They're hardly ever in like a specific home team stadium. It's more of like random. But yeah, it's also, trust me, even I like it's a bit of a weird concept really in general, but either way, but most of the action is going to be this weekend, as this weekend is week 1 of the college football season. And if you want a big game to highlight for this weekend, Ohio State versus Notre Dame from Columbus this week. I think it's like 7 or 8 o'clock game this weekend. Ohio State Notre Dame should be a very good and interesting game. Definitely want to keep out for if you want to have one to watch for this weekend. I will definitely cover biggest parts of the college football week 1 next week's episode, but I just wanted to put it out there at least so you guys know of that. The Hawk is going to start coming back starting, well, I guess already this week, but more next week. But once again, as I said last year, the college football playoff rankings don't come out till more into the season. So I'll still go over rankings, but it's not going to be the official ones. I'll probably go over AP. Those are usually the more bigger ones prior to the college football playoff rankings that don't come out till like week 10, I think they start, or it's like sometime in November, December, but either way. So the one game I want to highlight that was in Dublin, Ireland from week 0 is between two Big Ten rivals, happens to be, or Big Ten teams, not really rivals, between Northwestern and Nebraska. Nebraska actually jumped out 28-17 in this game, which in the second half, they began on a crazy play where the quarterback went back to throw, started going off to the side as to either run it or step out of bounds with pressure coming out of it at him, spun out of that, threw a deep pass, actually got a receiver into the receiver's hands, got a huge first down. They ended up scoring on that drive. Sad news for Nebraska. They actually blew that 28-17 lead, which a big part of which this was confusing to me. After they got 28-17, they onside kicked it to Nebraska. I mean, not Northwestern, not Nebraska, which was just like, what? Why are you onside kicking when you're up 28-17? Like, it's one thing if you're down 28-17, but up 28-17, and that basically gave Northwestern prime position to start a comeback that they ended up completing and won 31-28 being capped off by a pick thrown by Nebraska, which bad start for Scott Frost and trying to still stay alive in Nebraska. So yeah, it's just a head scratcher. But that's the one college football game I wanted to emphasize from week 0. And then the one NBA news is RJ Barrett signed an extension with the Knicks officially for 4 years, $120 million. So now for all the MLB weekly recap. So from last Tuesday, last Tuesday, 5-run fourth and 6-run ninth, both by the St. Louis Cardinals. For the 5-run fourth, Nolan Arenado solo home run, Tyler O'Neill 2-run homer, Brendan Donovan 2-run single, advancing to second on an error. And for the 6-run ninth, Andrew Kisner RBI walk, Tommy Edman 2-run double, Dylan Carlson 2-run triple, Paul Goldschmidt RBI ground into a double play in a 13-3 win versus the Cubs in Game 2 of a day-night doubleheader. The Cubs won the first game of the doubleheader. Franmil Reyes, the Cubs, pitched in this game, went an inning, giving up 0 hits, 0 runs, 0 walks, and striking out 1, and also hitting Albert Pujols by a pitch in that second game. 5-run fifth by the Braves. Travis d'Arnaud game-tying solo home run. Vaughn Grissom go-ahead RBI single. Robbie Grossman RBI single. Dansby Swanson RBI fly out or force out at second. And Austin Riley sac fly in 6-1 win versus the Pirates. 6-run seventh by the Blue Jays. Or not Blue Jays, by Tampa. Christian Bethancourt solo home run, Yandy Diaz RBI double, Taylor Walls 2-run single, Christian Bethancourt 2-run single, an 11-1 win versus the Angels. Then 8-run third by the Blue Jays, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. game-tying RBI double, Teoscar Hernandez go-ahead RBI single, Matt Chapman RBI walk, Kevin Biggio 2-run single, George Springer bases clearing triple in 9-3 win versus the Red Sox. That's from last Tuesday. Last Wednesday, 5-run fourth, and 7-run eighth, both by the Atlanta Braves. For the 5-run fourth, Eddie Rosario scoring on a error at first base. Dansby Swanson base clearing double, Austin Riley RBI single. And then for the 7-run eighth, Ronald Acuna Jr. RBI single, Austin Riley RBI hit by a pitch, Matt Olson grand slam, Robbie Grossman RBI single in 14-2 win for the Braves versus the Pirates. O'Neill Cruz scored the hardest to hit single in which was 122.4 in the third inning of this game, which was the hardest hit ball in the StatCast era, topping Giancarlo Stanton's 122.2. 6-run fifth by the Tigers, Victor Reyes 2-run single, Cody Clemens RBI single, Harold Castro RBI single, Willie Castro 2-run double in 6-1 win versus the Giants. 7-run second by Texas, Corey Seager 2-run double, Nathaniel Lowe RBI single, Adolis Garcia RBI single, Mark Mathias bases clearing double in 16-4 win versus the Rockies. 5-run fourth by Cleveland, Jose Ramirez solo home run, Oscar Gonzalez solo home run. Jose Ramirez and Oscar Gonzalez's home runs were back-to-back in that inning. Luke Maile, sorry about this. Just had to fix something. Luke Maile, RBI single. Steven Kwan, 2-run single in 7-0 win versus San Diego. Jose Ramirez had a 2-homer game in this game. Solo home run in the first and solo in the fourth for Cleveland. 5-run seventh by the Kansas City Royals. Nicky Lopez, RBI sac bunt. MJ Melendez, go-ahead RBI single. Bobby Witt Jr., 3-run homer in a 5-3 win versus Arizona. And then George Kirby threw 24 straight strikes to start a game, which is a new MLB record since Oral Hershiser in 1988, I believe it was Oral, in 3-1 loss versus the Nationals. Julio Rodriguez, his first Mariner player with 20 homers and 20 stolen bases in a season since Mike Cameron in 2002. That's from last Wednesday. Last Thursday, 5-run third by Tampa Bay. Manuel Margot, 2-run triple. Harold Ramirez, RBI fielder's choice. Isaac Paredes, 2-run homer in an 8-3 win versus the Angels. With Cody Dickerson, that doesn't sound right. Single in the third inning, he has 10 hits and 10 ABs. First since Jose Altuve in 2018. Streak ended in the next AB on a ground into fielder's choice, an 8-3 win for St. Louis versus the Cubs. Yeah, Corey Dickerson, not Cody Dickerson. I don't know why I said Cody. Anyways, Aaron Nola went a complete game, 5-hit shutout with 11 strikeouts in a 4-0 Phillies win over Cincinnati. Kyle Stowers, first major league home run as a game-tying solo home run in the ninth inning in 4-3 Baltimore Orioles win versus the White Sox in 11 innings. And Giancarlo Stanton, in his return from injury, went 1 for 4, a single, a walk, 3 RBI, and a strikeout in a 13-4 Yankees win versus the Oakland Athletics. That is from last Thursday. Last Friday, Julio Rodriguez signed an extension with Seattle, 14 years, $210 million. That can net more than $450 million through multiple ways. It's like a whole complicated thing, but yeah. And then, so that's from that. Ian Happ had a 2-homer game. Go ahead 2-run homer in the 7th. First Cubs hit of the game. And go ahead 2-run homer in the 10th. And a 4-3 Cubs win versus the Brewers in 10 innings. Mookie Betts had a 2-homer game as well. But for the Dodgers against the Marlins, a 2-run homer in the 7th and solo home run in the 9th in a 10-6 Dodgers win versus Miami. 5-run 10th by the Dodgers. Mookie Betts go-ahead RBI double. Trey Turner RBI single. Freddie Freeman RBI double. Max Muncy 2-run double in that game. 5-run second by the Angels. David Fletcher 2-run double. Shohei Ohtani 2-run triple. Luis Rengifo RBI single and 12-0 win versus the Blue Jays. 6-run third by the Twins. Jose Miranda RBI sac fly. Gilberto Celestino bases clearing double. Gary Sanchez 2-run homer in 9-0 win for the Twins over the Giants. 6-run second by Arizona. Alek Thomas RBI sac fly. Josh Rojas bases clearing double. Emmanuel Rivera 2-run homer in 7-2 win versus the White Sox. And Bryce Harper, in his return from injury, longer-awaited return from injury, had a 2-run single and 4 ABs in 7-4 win for the Phillies versus Pittsburgh. And Jonah Bride hit his first major league home run via solo home run in the 7th in a 3-2 loss for Oakland against the Yankees. That's from last Friday. Last Saturday, 5-run second by Arizona. Carson Kelly, the RBI walk. Geraldo Perdomo game-tying 2-run single. Josh Rojas go-ahead RBI walk. Emmanuel Rivera RBI ground out in 10-5 win versus the White Sox. And 42-year-old Rich Hill went 7 innings, giving up 3 hits, 0 runs, 1 walk, 11 strikeouts in a 5-1 Red Sox win versus Tampa Bay. That's from last Saturday. Sorry about this. Just need to charge my phone. So from Sunday, 5-run first and 6-run eighth, both by Kansas City in the same game. 5-run first was via Michael A. Taylor. Team-tying solo home run. Brett Rooker, go-ahead RBI single. Nick Prado RBI foul force out. Drew Waters RBI double. Nicky Lopez RBI single. And then the 6-run eighth was a Nick Prado 2-run double. Drew Waters RBI single. Michael A. Taylor 2-run single. Bobby Witt Jr. sac fly in a 15-7 win versus the Padres. 5-run fifth by Minnesota. Max Kepler go-ahead RBI double. Jose Miranda RBI double. Gio Urshela RBI double. Dick Cave bases clearing double in 8-3 win versus the Giants. Garrett Mitchell in his major league debut got his first major league hit and RBI via RBI single in 9-7 Brewers win versus the Cubs. And with Nationals 3-2 win versus the Reds, and Patrick Corbin earning the W in that win. Washington Nationals ended a 43-game streak where their starting pitcher for that game did not earn the win in that game. I guess in general. And yesterday, Javier Assad of the Cubs is the first Cubs pitcher in the modern era to have a scoreless start against a team 10-plus games over 500 in each of his first two careers appearances versus the 70-51 Cardinals last week and against at the 68-58 Blue Jays yesterday, thanks to going 5 innings, giving up 4 hits, 0 runs, 2 walks, 1 strikeout, and sadly a 5-4 Cubs loss to the Blue Jays in 11 innings, where the Cubs had a 4-0 lead by Blue, thanks to Danny Jansen having a 3-run homer and walk-off RBI single, and then Matt Chapman game-tying RBI single, helping complete the comeback. 6-run second by the Cardinals, Tyler O'Neill solo home run, Tommy Edman 2-run double, Lars Nootbaar RBI single, Brendan Donovan 2-run single in a 13-4 win versus Rockies. With Albert Pujols' 2-run homer in this game in the third inning, he now has 694 for his career, and that was the 450th different pitcher he's hit a home run off of, passing Barry Bonds for most in MLB history, also for his career. And Tyler O'Neill having a 2-homer game, solo home run in the second and 2-run homer in the sixth. 6-run fourth and 6-run fifth, both by Arizona. Fourth, Emmanuel Rivera RBI double, Stone Garrett RBI single, Corbin Carroll reaching on a fielding error, scoring Emmanuel Rivera, and Carson Kelly 3-run double. And then the fifth inning with Jake McCarthy game-tying hit by a pitch, Corbin Carroll go-ahead 2-run double, Carson Kelly RBI double, Ketel Marte RBI walk, Christian Walker RBI walk in 13-7 win versus Philly. Corbin Carroll in his major league debut picked up his first hit and RBI via go-ahead 2-run double in the fifth inning, scored twice as well in this game. Garrett Mitchell hit his first major league home run via game-tying 2-run homer in the eighth inning in a 7-5 Brewers win versus the Pirates. And with a solo home run in the eighth inning, Aaron Judge became the 7th different player in MLB history with 50 home runs before the month of September. First since now teammate at the time Marlins outfielder Giancarlo Stanton in 2017. And that is the games-wise part of the MLB Weekly Recap. Standings update. For the AL American League East, the Yankees still in first place, 78-51 at 1 point. We're on a 5-game win streak, ending on a 3-game losing streak, followed by the Blue Jays, 70-57, ending at 1 point. We're on a 6-game win streak, ending on a 2-game win streak, 7 games back in the division, a game up in the wild card standings, followed by the Blue Jays, 69-58, ending on a 1-game win streak, 8 games back in the division, a wild card team firmly as of right now, no games up or down. Followed by the Orioles, 67-60, ending on a 1-game losing streak, 10 games back in the division, 2 games back in the wild card. Followed by the Red Sox, 62-67, ending on a 2-game losing streak, 16 games back in the division, 8 games back in the wild card. That is the AL East. For the AL Central, the Guardians in first place, 67-59, ending on a 1-game losing streak, followed by the Twins, 66-61, and at 1 point, we're on a 6-game losing streak, ending on a 4-game win streak, a game and a half back in the division, 3 games back in the wild card, followed by the White Sox, 63-65, ending on a 4-game losing streak, 5 games back in the division, 6.5 back in the wild card, followed by the Royals, 52-77, ending on a 1-game win streak, 16.5 back in the division. In my mind, not in contention for a wild card spot, followed by the Tigers, 50-78, ending on a 2-game win streak, 18 games back in the division. And that's AL Central. For the AL West, Astros in first place, 82-47, ending on a 2-game win streak. By the way, from now on, I just realized I didn't mention this last episode. I'm only going to say wild card games back if they're under double digits in the wild card standing. If they're over, I'm not going to even mention where they are or how many games back. I consider if you're over double digits, basically 10 plus, I consider you out of the race. So I'm not going to be mentioning those teams. I will just only mention the teams at this point, since we're coming basically to the last month of the season, the teams that still, in my mind, still have a legitimate chance based on how far back they are. Or, well, obviously, I also mentioned teams that are still in the wild card because that can always fluctuate between now and the end of the season. But anyways, followed by the Mariners, 70-58, ending on a 1-game win streak, 11.5 back in the division, half game back half game up in the wild card, followed by the Rangers 58-69, ending on a 2-game losing streak, 23 games back in the division, followed by the Angels 56-73, ending at one point on a 6-game losing streak, ending on a 4-game win streak, 26 games back in the division, followed by the Oakland A's 48-81, ending on a 2-game win streak, 34 games back in the division. That is the AL West standings and AL standings. For the NL, starting with the NL East, Mets still in first place, 82-47, ending on a 1-game losing streak, followed by the Braves 79-50, ending on a 2-game losing streak, 3 games back in the division, in half games up in the wild card. Sorry about that. Followed by the Phillies, 72-57. At one point, we're on a 6-game win streak, ending on a 2-game losing streak, 10 games back in the division, a game and a half up in the wild card. Followed by the Marlins, 55-73, ending on a 2-game losing streak, 26 and a half back in the division. Followed by the Nationals, 43-85, ending on a 1-game win streak, 38 and a half back in the division. As NL East, for the NL Central, Cardinals still in first place, 75-54. At one point, we're on an 8-game win streak, ending on a 3-game win streak. Followed by the Brewers, 68-59, ending on a 3-game win streak, 6 games back in the division, a game and a half back in the wild card. Followed by the Cubs, 55-74, ending on a 3-game win streak, 20 games back in the division. Followed by the Reds, 50-77, ending on a 2-game losing streak, 24 and a half back in the division. Followed by the Pirates, 48-80. At one point on a 7-game losing streak, ending on a 1-game losing streak, 26 and a half back in the division. That's the NL Central. For the NL West, Dodgers in first place, 89-38, ending on a 2-game win streak. Followed by the Padres, 71-59, ending on a 1-game win streak, 19 and a half back in the division. Wild card spot as of right now, no games up or behind. Followed by the Giants, 61-66, ending on a 5-game losing streak, 28 back in the division, 8.5 back in the wild card. Followed by the Diamondbacks, 16-67, ending on a 4-game win streak, 29 back in the division, 9.5 back in the wild card. Followed by the Rockies, 55-74, ending on a 1-game win streak, 35 games back in the division. That is the general standings. For the wild card standings of the AL, the teams right now firmly, if the playoffs were today, in the wild card for the American League is Rays, Mariners, and Blue Jays in that order. Outside that, I still consider possibilities to possibly change places into the wild card. In this order is Orioles, Twins, White Sox, and Red Sox. For the National League, the wild card teams as of right now are Braves, Phillies, Padres in that order. Outside that, I still consider having a shot is Brewers, Giants, and Diamondbacks. That is the wild card standings. And now for today's games, today's schedule for MLB. First game up will be Orioles at Guardians at 6:10. Spencer Watkins pitching for Baltimore. Cal Quantrill pitching for Cleveland. Cardinals at Reds at 6:40. Dakota Hudson going for St. Louis. Justin Dunn going for Cincinnati. Rays at Marlins at 6:40. Shane McClanahan going for Tampa. Jesus Luzardo going for Miami. A's at Nationals at 7:05. Cole Irvin going for Oakland. Eric Fetty going for Washington. Cubs at Blue Jays at 7:07. Marcus Stroman pitching for Chicago against one of his old teams, again facing Kevin Gausman for the Blue Jays. Dodgers at Mets at 7:10. Andrew Heaney pitching for LA. Kyle Walker pitching for New York. Mariners at Tigers at 7:10. George Kirby pitching for the Mariners. Matt Manning pitching for the Tigers, followed by Rockies and Braves at 7:20. Jose Urena pitching for Colorado. Max Fried pitching for Atlanta, I don't know why I'm saying followed by repeatedly. Red Sox at Twins at 7:40. Cutter Crawford pitching for Boston. Chris Archer pitching for Minnesota. Astros at Rangers at 8:05. Framber Valdez pitching for Houston. Dane Dunning pitching for Texas. Royals at White Sox at 8:10. Brady Singer pitching for Kansas City. Lucas Giolito pitching for the White Sox. Pirates at Brewers at 8:10. Mitch Keller pitching for Pittsburgh. Jason Alexander pitching for Milwaukee. Yankees at Angels at 9:38. Jameson Taillon pitching for New York. Mike Myers pitching for the Angels. Phillies at Diamondbacks 9:40. Aaron Nolan pitching for Philly. Zach Gallen pitching for Arizona, and then Padres and Giants at 9:45. Blake Snell pitching for San Diego, and Logan Webb pitching for San Francisco. That is today's schedule, and that is the MLB Weekly Recap, and that is this week's episode of the podcast. So let's wrap things up. Thank you so much for watching this week's episode of Benny the Moose Podcast. On next week's episode, we'll have MLB Weekly Recap. We'll have college football official week 1 to go over the key games from week 1. We'll have NFL news if there's any, and there will be NBA news if there's any. Either way, NFL rosters have officially pretty much been set in place. There might be a few moves to officially set, but teams are officially cutting down to 53 today, as is set to be done by today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week's episode. Bye-bye.